welcome to the Planet Pearl YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Pearlin, and Planet Pearl is a space for makers for creating and living slowly and for sharing the small joys of making every day. I talk about my making journey. Sometimes it's crochet, sometimes it's knitting, and sometimes patchwork or sewing or cross stitch or embroidery. I get into all sorts of fiber crafts in my making journey, and I like to share it here on this channel with you all. Sometimes I get to go on creative adventures when I can, and I really love this beautiful creative life that I have been blessed with. I'm so glad that you joined me today. If this is your first time here on my channel, a very hearty welcome to you. Like I said before, my name is Pearlin and I live in Ōtautahi, Aotearoa, Christchurch, New Zealand with my family. And if you're returning to my channel, I so appreciate your support. Thank you for coming back, leaving me comments and all of the love and encouragement I am ever so grateful for. So today I'm sitting in my craft corner surrounded by my yarn, my project bags, bits and pieces everywhere, and Casper is following me around. He's just sitting here like my tiny assistant as usual, and I do love it. I love that he comes around with me everywhere. He was neutered recently and he's not happy with the entire situation, but being the sweet little thing that he is soldiering on and tries to be involved in everything I'm doing. So if I'm knitting, he's nearby with his cone on. Like I said, he hates it and tries to get it at every possible opportunity, but when we put it on, he tolerates it. And Amber has been mostly kind to him too, apart from the occasional reminder that she is still the boss of Casper. Anyway, today I thought I would come here and do a little knitting catch-up because life lately has been dogs, knitting and resting, and far too much of the Brokenwood series. I happened upon this series and now I'm completely hooked. It's my knitting show. I love this. It's an imaginary small town in New Zealand, and I love the small town feel of it. The humor is very dry and it's a very familiar one as well, and everyone in the show is slightly chaotic, and it's in a very believable way. So every night I knit to one full episode and sometimes two, but I've quickly reached season 8 in this 12 season series. So that's been my evenings lately. During these evenings of knitting and watching Brokenwood Mysteries, I finished a couple of things and also not really happy about one of my finished projects. And so I wanted to share some of my thoughts around it, and I would really love for you to share your thoughts too if you have any suggestions or ideas. If you have been following my episodes, you may remember that I talked about finishing my Magnolia chunky cardigan. So I thought I would give you an update on it since I've been talking about it here and there on my channel. Well, I finally finished knitting on it. It's a big relief and definitely a big achievement in my book, but I really didn't get the happiness I thought I would get after I finished it. And this cardigan has actually taught me a lot. In fact, more than I really expected. This is my third garment, so I'm still really in the learning phase. And I think this cardigan has become one of the big lesson for me in garment knitting, I think, actually, because I've only realized now that garment knitting goes beyond just following a pattern. The knitting itself went well. I learned new techniques. I attended a couple of classes to understand parts of the construction better. and I really worked through the sections that intimidated me with the help of the classes, and I finished the whole cardigan, which is still which I'm still really proud of. Like I mentioned, I really enjoyed working on the lace and the baubles, and I think it turned out pretty well. Let me show you. So this is the bauble, and I followed the chart completely for this instead of the written instructions, and I think it was really helpful for me. I kept getting confused with the written pattern, and I think it's just the way my brain understands things, I guess. But yeah, so this is the finished cardigan. I took a few b-roll of me wearing it, and I will insert it here. And I think this cardigan took about 2 and something, or I'm not really sure. I think it's around 2 years to finish. And I had finished it. I finished the button band and keyhole and everything, and I was not happy with it at all, like I said. And I went to the Unwind retreat, and there I was listening to Morag at Unwind talk about knit to fit, and I was talking to her after her speech on knit to fit, and she made me realize that frogging is just a part of the process towards something you can wear happily. So currently I'm still not fully decided what I'm going to do with this cardigan. Frogging and knitting it again, it feels a little bit intimidating for me, and part of me thinks I should just block it at first and then actually give it a chance. It's bunched up now quite a bit here in the front, and that's because I have not blocked it. And sometimes I think that maybe I can just wear it around the house on cold mornings, and another part of me wants to frog it and remake it, because I've made it once. I feel like I already know what to expect, and maybe it won't be as hard the second time, and I would know what I'm doing. And also it would be a good chance to use everything I've learned now about fit and proportions, but bringing all the knowledge to a practical use, I don't know. But either way, it's not wasted time, I think. I think this cardigan taught me so much, and I'm really happy. It's a step forward in my garment making journey. Thank you so much for listening to me talk through all my Magnolia cardigan thoughts, because this thing has been genuinely sitting on my mind, in the back of my mind for weeks now. And if you have any advice or thoughts around this, what to do with this, I would genuinely love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, so that is my Magnolia cardigan finished. I do like the length of the sleeves, but I somehow feel that it doesn't suit the length of the garment, and it is not like it. I feel like it's not proportionate, and the baubles sit at a weird place at the back, which really annoys me. And I saw a few people knit on. I saw a few people who had knit added length. Excuse me. I saw a few people on Ravelry had added length to the cardigan, but then, and so I decided that a longer length would suit me. But unfortunately, it did not, and I think I should have just trusted the process and followed the pattern, then maybe I would not have been so disappointed. But still, the fit around the shoulders and stuff is like, it's quite baggy. And I think after listening to all the talks and taking a class at Wool in the Bay for fit knits as well, I think I have gathered up the courage to think, okay, if the garment doesn't fit, I can still frog it and make it. And I think a lot of people don't talk about it because, you know, the difference between a new knitter and an experienced knitter, I feel, is that the experienced knitters don't feel intimidated about frogging what they work and redoing it in a way that they like. And I think that is the difference between a new knitter and a experienced knitter. They understand that it is a process in making the garment fit them, whereas for me it was about following the pattern, choosing my size, following the pattern, getting the yarn that they tell you to do. And I think that, I've done all the things that they've told me to do, and now my garment should fit me. It's more than that, I've realized now. And yeah, it's a big learning process, I guess, that making a garment that fits you. And because this cardigan made me realize that the process matters when it comes to garment knitting, the finished garment matters too. And even though I'm disappointed in parts with it, I don't think it was a wasted project. I did moan for a while about how I wasted the time, and when I asked my knit group ladies, they were like, oh, it looks fine, why do you want to change it, why do you want to frog it? And but I still wasn't happy. And the problem, I think, is that and the thing that I think is that when you make a garment, you need to be happy with the finished product, and it must be something that you reach out to wear. And I think I understand garments better now that than I did before I cast this on. And another thing I have learned through this whole experience and from talking to different garment knitters is that they get it wrong too. I had in my naivety had thought that experienced knitters just do it and they get it. I don't think people talk enough about that. They do not talk about the journey. They, experienced knitters, still choose wrong fits, do the wrong modifications sometimes, and they, just like us, they still finish things and realize something is off. But like I said, the difference is that experienced knitters are brave enough to frog things and remake them, and to suit their needs. And seeing other knitters talk about it in these retreats that I went to, and you know, it has made me actually less anxious about frogging a fully finished cardigan that took 2-something years to finish. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Magnolia cardigan. Anyway, so now on to happier and less complicated knits. I finished my blueberry waffle socks. I'm not even sure if I showed when I started it, but I'm really happy with them. They were such a fun project because it felt good to knit something familiar again. I love knitting socks, but it had a little bit of novelty to it because of the pattern, which kept me interested, and I think I got the pattern link from the Table 10 podcast. I think I like a little bit more going on in my socks these days. So just the plain vanilla socks seems a little bit boring for me at this moment, and it doesn't quite cut it for me anymore. And so I was really happy to finish these. I used the yarn that I got from Cruellers before they closed in so Cruellers was a yarn store in Nelson that I did a tour of back sometime back here, and it makes me happy knowing that I have something knitted from that shop. And this yarn was dyed by the owner, I think, and the colorway is called Mystic Magic, and I linked the pattern below. It's a free pattern. So it's basically the usual 64 stitches, cuff down, heel flap, and gusset, and then Kitchener stitch. And I used my 3mm Knit Pro Zinc DPNs. I love them. They are by far the best. And I also tried to get another one. I don't know the name of it, but it is another kind of needles from the Knit Pro company itself, but Knit Pro Zincs continue to be my favorite. I also finished a neck scarf that we did as a knit along, and so it goes like this. Let me show you. So it goes so this is how it is. This was a knit along with the ladies from my knit group, and one of the ladies found the pattern online and we all decided to make it together. It looked very simple at first, but when we started doing the project, a few of us ran into a few little problems here and there, because the pattern only gave the measurements and not the stitch count. So we had to work out our own stitch numbers based on gauge to get the size we wanted, which turned into a very fun knit group situation where everyone was comparing notes on how many stitches we cast on, and how many stitches we cast on, and how long we did it. And actually for me it was 66 centimeters and not 60 centimeters, and it was the same, I think it was 69 centimeters or something. It was not the same for others, it was less, but it was really fun figuring the whole thing together. And so you make a long strip, and then you sew these two pieces diagonally, and then kind of fold it like that, and it becomes this little squishy scarf that you wear. It's really cute. And I actually learned the fisherman's rib for this for the first time while making this, which felt really exciting because I feel like I've added one more stitch to my knitting repertoire. I knit mine using 100% merino hand-dyed yarn from Koru Designs, which doesn't exist anymore. And I also used my 4.5mm Chiago circular needles, which I think is my favorite needle size. And I think this scarf will be really perfect for walking Casper during our morning walks. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I've also started the ranunculus, which I'm very excited about, and I don't think I have brought it, but I will insert a b-roll. I'm using Yarn Face yarn for it, and it's unbelievably soft. It's It's from the base for the yarn is from a company called Grumpy Merino, which is really soft, and the color is gorgeous. And I actually I don't know the name of the yarn. I bought it back when I visited her open studio, and I have joined a knitting class for this one as well, which has been really nice because it feels good to have a little bit of support and guidance while making it. I am hoping and looking forward to it being one of the garments that will fit me well, and I will be really happy wearing it. And another thing that's become part of my making lately is a little different. Over the past little while, whenever I've gone on the yarn retreats and fibre events, the goodie bags each have a skein of the very same yarn, it's the same brand of yarn tucked into them. So I had, so each time I ended up collecting these beautiful, I have 4 of these yarns. So this is called the Broadway Merino yarn, and they are little single skeins of different colors. So there's a nice cherry red, there's a apple green, and there's one more olive green. And I really didn't have any plans for them. But the yarn is a lovely 100% New Zealand merino, grown in New Zealand and spun in Italy. And they're really nice yarn, but I didn't really have plans for them in the foreseeable futures. Then I came across the Preemie Knitting Club and their Peggy squares, and I thought that it would be really nice to make Peggy squares using these yarns. So I could finish up these yarns for these Peggy squares because both my boys were premature babies. My firstborn was 30 weeks weighing 1.8 kgs, and my second was born at 32 weeks weighing 2.25 kgs. So this project is quite close to it's actually very close to my heart, and I still remember those days like yesterday. It was such a vulnerable time, so many tears and anxiety and frustration and all of them, and the thought of contributing something small to bring warmth for these little babies, teeny tiny babies and their families, made me really makes me happy. So I've gathered all the yarn in this Happiness is Handmade pouch that I got at the cross stitch retreat along with my 4.5 needles. No, it's a 4 mm needle, I think. Yes, it's a 4 mm needle, and the pattern is available on the Preemie Knit Club website. At the moment, I've got 1 square, and I'm making another one. So there's this olive green, and then there's a Christmas red, and then 2 of these bright green, apple green. And I know they're not like really cohesive colors, but I think they will work well for a Peggy square blanket, which is like you have to make 20 squares, and I thought I will add these 2 lines from each of the yarn so I've done this here as well, so that it will be cohesive. It'll be scrappy but also cheerful. So my goal now is to see how many Peggy squares I can knit before June, and I really want to knit at least knit 20 and send them away to them. And I love that postage is actually free, because it makes contributing feel much easier and to worry about it. All you have to do is provide the yarn. So I think this is going to become part of my everyday knitting ritual for a while now, with my dogs nearby, Brokenwood Mysteries, and making these peggy squares as fast as I can. So that's where I'm currently at in my knitting life. I hope you enjoyed this little update. Thank you so much for spending this bit of time with me today. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and happy crafting. Bye for now.